Hello and welcome to a Christmas crochet video. Today we are going to make an easy Christmas star. Again, I'm using the crochet thread called Pika, but since the thread is quite thin, I'm going to double it for my star. So I doubled the thread and I'm going to use a 3mm hook. We're going to start off by making a slip knot. And next we are going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Join with the first stitch with a slip stitch to turn this into a ring, and our foundation is done. Next we are going to make 10 single crochets into this ring. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. I'm trying to work the tail as I go. Okay, so the first round is done. Next we are going to make chains. So chain 5, 4 and 5, skip a stitch and slip stitch into the next one. Skip 1, slip stitch into the next one. So from here we are just going to repeat this pattern 4 more times. Chain 5, skip 1 stitch and slip stitch into the next. By repeating this pattern, in the end of this round we are going to have 5 such chain spaces. This is the last chain space. When you are done, just skip a stitch and slip stitch into the next one. So we have our 5 chain spaces. In the next round we are going to start with a picot. So first make a slip stitch into the first chain, chain 3 and slip stitch into the first stitch of that chain, and our first picot is done. Slip stitch again into the chain space to fasten it off, and now we are going to work the arms. Chain 3, slip stitch into the first stitch to make a picot. Next chain 5, that's 3, 4 and 5, slip stitch into the first stitch of that 5 chain to make another picot. And now we are going to make a spike. For that one, chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and again as before, slip stitch into the first stitch of that chain. The spike is done. Now we are going to reverse the pattern. So we are going to make a 5 chain and a 3 chain picot. So next chain 5, 2, 3, 4 and 5, slip stitch into the first stitch of that chain, and then slip stitch again into the 5 chain picot. That's done. Now we are left with the 3 chain picot, chain 3, slip stitch into the first stitch to make a picot and slip stitch again into the picot on the other side. And our arm is done. Slip stitch into the chain space, and we are going to finish it off with another 3 chain picot. Chain 3, slip stitch into the first stitch and make a picot. So again we are going to slip stitch to fasten this last picot off, and the first arm of the star is done. We have 4 more to go. Slip stitch into the next chain space and start with a 3 chain picot first. Fasten it off by slip stitching, and now work the pattern for the arm. Again it was chain 3 picot first. Next we are going to make a 5 chain picot, and then the spike, which consists of 7 stitches. And that's it. Okay, slip stitch to make a picot, and on the other side we are going to work the pattern in reverse, starting by a 5 chain picot. We have to slip stitch that into the picot on the other side, and then chain 3, slip stitch into the first stitch, make a picot and slip stitch it into the 3 chain picot on the other side. Slip stitch into the main chain space, chain 3, slip stitch into the first stitch, make a picot and slip stitch again to fasten it off, and the second arm is done. So just continue working this pattern to have all 5 arms of the star. Once all 5 arms of the star are done, cut the thread and work the tails. You can use this as an ornament for your tree, maybe decorate your gifts, use around the house as home decor, but whatever you use it for, I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. Thank you so much for watching.